Hey there and welcome back. So we created the Swagger template with our server. We have the title description, we have the schemas here. So let's see if we can add some operations to this so we can test out some of the endpoints. Let's go to the routes folder because I think it makes sense to put it in here, but it could be any TS file, could be in the controllers or anything. But let's have it in the routes file here because we have the endpoints here as well. And I'm going to do the same thing as we did with the Swagger definition. I'm going to copy in the documentation content so we can see it, and then I'm going to explain about it so we keep the video length down. So first off, I think we're going to start on this the welcome route here, the health check, and if we put in the documentation here. So I think I don't need this one up here anymore. Now we can see, first off, if we go to Swagger, let's see what happens. If I refresh it, we have app routes. It says health check. It's a get route. If we click on this, the arrow, we can extend it, and it says basic route to check if the API is running, no parameters. It will return 200 if the server is up and running. So we can hit this try it out button, and let's hit the execute here. It will just test the route using a curl request, and it will say, now it says 200, welcome to the MENTS API. So very, very basic route here, or operation in Swagger that we can add. If we go to the actual documentation, we can see here it has a add Swagger that will tell Swagger this is an open API. Definition here, we have the route here. We have get requests. We have a tag that we can modify to suit our needs. We have summary, we have description, and then we have this response that is, it will return 200. We could also add 500 maybe if it was not up and running, but it will just return 200, we can see. So very basic operation in Swagger. The next one, I think it could be interesting what happens when we register a new user maybe, because we need to include a body. First off, and it's also not a get request, it's a post request. So how will this look like? So let's have a look. Let's insert the documentation here, and I think I will remove one of the auth here. So again, we got the Swagger, the add Swagger, we have the route, post, we have a new tag here, user routes, summary, description, and then we have this request body. And the request body now, it says it is required because if we want to register a user, we need to send a body with it. So it's required. The content of it will be in JSON format. And then because we created this schema, you see that we have the components, schemas, user. If we go to the documentation, we can see here that we created this components, schemas, and then we have user. So because we did this, we're able to reference this directly now, which is pretty handy. And then we can specify the user, so we don't have to type everything again. Then we have the responses, what will come back. And I put 201, user created or registered successfully. We have, it will return a JSON format. Object, it is an object here. Type, we will have properties error, which is a type string, and then we will have the ID back so we can use it in the front end. So let's look in Swagger what happens when we update it. So now we get user routes, we get a different tag, we can group routes here. And we can see we have user registers a new user. We can extend on this, and now we can see the summary and the description. We have no parameters. It is a required request body, and we also get this example value schema because we created the schema down here. And again, we got the responses. We can see here, try it out. I think if we test it, let's see here. I don't need to have the ID because this will be generated, the registered date. We also don't need this, so I need these 3 parts here. So let's just do test name. I need a valid email. So this should be valid. Password. So let's just try to submit an invalid password. Let's see if the validation will kick in. Let me just copy this. So we can see here, it will return 400 bad request. I haven't documented this in the API or in the Swagger, but we get also the validations out. So this should probably also be included. If we add this valid password, let's see what happens. Oh, it must be a valid email. Let's see, I think I need to add something more maybe, because I have this email validation here. Let's just take Mr. Burns number 2. Let's see what happens here. So now we can see 200. My API actually responds with 200, but I specified in the Swagger that I would get 201. So this is a good example that there should be some coherence between how your API is designed and how your Swagger is also defined. But we can see it's working. We get the response body, we get the ID back. So the actual operation works. But we should probably update this. So it will be either we should update Swagger with 200, or we should update our response body with the code for 201. And we can see in the register here in the Auth controller, when we register a new user, we probably should respond with maybe 201 because we create something, we create a resource. But this is something for another video maybe. So a little bit refactor. Okay, so that was the register. Let's see. I think let's just take the last one here also and close the video. So the final one, if we go to our routes. So now we have a very simple one in the health check. We have one that is post with a request body. And I think the final one maybe should be one where we have everything. So this could be the update, the put request, where we have both parameters. We're using a verified token because we want to allow people to only do this if they're logged in. And we also specify a body. So let me paste in the documentation for this. So we can see this is probably one of the most complex or comprehensive definitions we have, because this is an update that will, first off, I think let's just see it in the browser first in Swagger here. If we update this, you can see we have product routes now. Now we have app user route and also the product. And this one will take a parameter that is the ID. That is the ID of the product we want to update. So we have parameters that is required from the repository, and this will be a Mongo object ID. And it will also require, we have a request body, and it will return 200 because we want to update an existing resource. And this is what is actually in here. One thing that is extra on this is the security scheme, because we will add that the security should be our API key auth. That should be specified as an array. So this will have the effect that we can see here. If I go up here, we get this little log symbol. So that indicates that I need to be authorized to do this. But otherwise it is the same. We have this parameter also that is new, where it says this should be specified in the path. The name is ID, it is required, the description, and it is a string because it is an object ID from Mongo. But the rest is the same. We are referencing a different schema that is the product now, but otherwise it is the same as we did in the register, and we get a response back of 200. That is the updated document. Okay, so I think this is it for this video about how we do Swagger documentation. I will leave this up to you to do the rest of the documentation for your own routes here. And as a finishing note, you probably will be able to find NPM libraries that will be able to either read through the code or allow you to put this into one file also, a YAML file. And as I said before, previously videos, there are pros and cons of doing this, because you will be dependent on extra libraries, and you need to make sure that they are credible and they are maintained. Okay, so I think this is it for this video. I really hope you make this work and have fun with this. Bye-bye, and happy coding.